How do arguers support their claims of fact or value? Are there better ways to emphasize your point and prove a certain statement of idea? These are the questions that you need to think of, most especially if you are claiming that you are correct or trying to convince the readers to agree with what you are saying. So, it is also important for you not just to state your claim clearly in a way that they would be able to understand if you agree or disagree, but also able to support everything that you are going to say. So, for you to be able to do that, let's move on to our topic for today. This is Miss Mayo again, and this is Grade 10 World Literature. Experience the literature of the world through English. Today's focus would be using reasons and evidence to support arguments. Welcome to day 2. So, what do you see in the picture? Correct. That is a photo of two men arguing against each other. You can see in the picture that they're clearly shouting at each other's face angrily, right? If we're going to notice, it says a statement below the picture. It says, the worst time to say anything is when you're angry. Okay? When you argue, we should set apart our emotions. We should know that we are required to validate a claim or idea that we mention, whether we agree or disagree, by presenting reasons and evidences that support the claims that we mention. To have a deeper understanding of this, now let's move on. Okay, so we need to have a deeper understanding of arguments and presentation of evidence. Therefore, we need to move on to this activity. Okay, so for this activity, you need to match the viewpoint from column A to its appropriate argument that serves as evidence or support from column B. Okay? Okay, so here it is. This activity actually contains 5 viewpoints from column A and 5 supporting details from column B. You can just simply pause the video in order for you to answer the activity. Okay? At the end of this video, you also are expected to send the activities that you are able to accomplish so that your teacher would be able to grade you. Okay? Let's now discuss the parts of an argument. The basic components of an argument are 1. The claim. This component asks the question, what do I think? Let's say, for example, you are going to point out that you are against abortion. So you need to be clear that what you think is the negative points of abortion. Let's say, for example, you're going to mention abortion kills lives. So that is actually a claim of what abortion is. So for that, you need to state your reason. Reasons are statements of logic that support your claim. So your claim, for example, is what I mentioned, wherein abortion kills. So you need to state your reason, why do you think so? And lastly, of course, you're going to point out the evidence or the proof that comes from sources, research, and is valid support for the claim. How do you know if that is the case? Okay, there you have it. So now we're going to focus on this diagram. This diagram is actually presenting how reasons, evidence, and claim are interconnected with each other. So reasons for you to explain and evidences as well as proofs are the things that support your claims strongly. Okay? So, there are certain points that you need to consider in developing an argument. A. Confirm your own position and build your case. B. Use facts and statistics to support your claims. So, as you see, your own positions should be built up in a case using facts and statistics and everything that supports what you are. But before that, let's first have this activity, the definition of terms. So you just need to guess the word from a set of letters and also from a collage of picture clues, okay? I guess you're well familiar with this. Do you remember what a four pick one word is? That's basically how this will be. So you're going to be presented with this set of pictures and you're going to have letter clues below it. Please take note that the words that you're going to guess are actually words that you need to familiarize yourself with for you to better understand the essay to be read. Okay, so what do you think is the word here? Correct, that's a test tube. Test tube are also known as a culture tube or sample tube and is a common piece of laboratory glassware consisting of a finger-like length of glass or clear plastic tubing, open at the top and closed at the bottom. Next, what do you think is the word here? Correct. That is contamination. Contamination is the action or state of making or being made impure by polluting or poisoning. Next, what do you think is the word here? Correct. The answer here is sanitation. Sanitation is the promotion of hygiene and prevention of disease by maintenance of sanitary conditions as by removal of sewage and trash. Now let's have the reading of the essay. This time it will be a reading activity, so you are expected to open your modules or your copy of the essay and read silently as I also read it with you, okay? Now let's start. Can We Really Live Now Without Alcohol by Mai Gonzalez from Carlos Core Comment. Alcohol has a legitimate use in sanitation, hygiene, and safety, which in retrospect are much needed aspects of our daily lives nowadays that we are experiencing a global crisis, the COVID-19 pandemic. Disinfecting and hand washing with the use of soap is a default routine we should familiarize ourselves and condition our bodies into, as we also instill the usage of alcohol and disinfectants at home, in banks, in payment centers, few open restaurants, and other establishments that are greatly harmful for the spread of the virus that can be seen with the naked eye. We now can't live without it, though its importance nonetheless is present even before. Prior to the rise of alcohol's demand for its usage, it is already a necessity for different works of life as it is used in different circumstances. Chemists, scientists, biomedical engineering students, and other people in the field of medicine, with their several groups, take laboratory courses and experiments where they make sure to work in a specialized system called a biosafety cabinet, has a special airflow to help sanitation, and spray everything down with ethanol before placing it in the biosafety cabinet in order to avoid contamination. For every test tube, every covered plate of cells, every pipette, gloves, you name it, everything. People who inject themselves with medication every week need alcohol swabs that they use on the injection site that helps reduce the risk of infection from that. These are more hygienic and safer way of sanitizing that, than the use of cotton in disinfecting the skin or site when injection and puncture is needed for medication. You may also see alcohol listed as an active ingredient on the labels of most all purpose cleaners, and you may be aware that rubbing alcohol is often used in hand sanitizers to neutralize germs. Though not all alcohol is equal when it comes to disinfecting, even though medical professionals have used forms of alcohol to sterilize and clean for hundreds of years. The truth is, you need to use a particular kind of alcohol to truly disinfect germs that can spread infection and disease. You might be pretty against alcohol liquors, as it was pointed out that alcohol wouldn't help even in disinfecting surfaces, as it wasn't even having a 40% to 70% alcohol content that kills bacteria. However, we need to consider the many uses of the items we have on hand during this crisis, especially those at an easy access, those which are not even a necessity anymore, as we now prioritize our physical health and wellness. We grab all means of survival, no matter how bizarre they may seem. Liquor, as a medical disinfectant, has long been prevalent in a pinch when you needed to disinfect a wound or sterilize medical supplies. Alcohol will kill bacteria, and you can even use it to flash an area before stitches, removing debris after an animal bite, etc. There had come a time that alcohol stocks went into a percentage of one, as even pharmacists go out of stock, with people's panic buying of sanitizers and cleaners, so we need to consider having some alternatives such as this previously banned goods. Therefore, the world would be crippled with loss of alcohol, not just for those biological research or medical applications, but also for at least somehow protecting ourselves from the unseen enemy we are facing in this global crisis. Sanitation and disinfection that alcohol provide is a must have. There you have it. Now let's have the post listening or post reading activity. Point out the evidences that are written or presented in the latter paragraph serving as a support for the author's claim and viewpoint regarding the importance of alcohol in our daily lives in the midst of the pandemic. In a separate paper, you also need to construct your own argumentative claims, serving as evidence that supports or negates the viewpoint being presented for each number. Number 1. Construction of roads and railways, especially interprovincial areas, should be continued despite the pandemic. Number 2. Liquor and gambling should be banned continuously. And for your assignment, you just need to complete this table. So you need to watch a news program or a talk show, specifically YouTube video, or read news article and answer the following questions. So you need to point out the issue, the viewpoint, the argument, and the conclusion. Okay, so that's all for this day. See you again tomorrow. Bye.